Good morning, y'all. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday to everybody that is tuning in, whether you are catching it now or on the replay. As you guys can see, I am getting my morning walk in, my morning time with God in, and I wanted to get on and share this revelation that the Lord gave me on this morning. It is a beautiful Saturday so far. It's one of those days where I got started a little bit later than usual. I don't know what it is about this season, but I have been needing a lot more rest and been able to get a lot more rest than I have in a while. I'm gonna say that again. This has been one of those seasons, especially when I compare it to the last season, of not really being able to get really any rest. I slept, but I didn't rest in the last season. And so this has been one of those seasons where it's been like God has allowed me to play catch up on actually being able to rest. Resting in Him, physical rest, emotional rest, and even bringing me into a place of spiritual rest. Our declaration on this morning, I know I'm a little bit out of breath, but y'all gonna have to deal with it because I am doing a little bit of exercise this morning. But our declaration on this morning is let it go. I'm gonna say that again. Our declaration on this morning is let it go. I'm going to say it one more time. The declaration for this morning, honestly, for this day, for tomorrow, for the next day, and the next day, is to simply let it go. So this morning, like I told you guys, it was one of those mornings where the Lord allowed me to get a little bit more rest. I slept in maybe about 10 minutes or so, maybe 10 to 15. It was about 15 minutes, give or take. And as I was feeding my dogs and just kind of trying to wake up, to be quite honest, I began to seek God, first thanking Him for the fact that I woke up. But I immediately noticed that compared to yesterday, with it being one of those days where I had a lot on my mind, I realized that today felt much lighter, right? And so I was asking God, like, in so many words, Papa, what's up with this? What changed, right? I was asking Him, what changed since yesterday? Yesterday was one of those days. It wasn't a bad day, but it was one of those days where I had a lot on my mind. And the Lord told me, He said, what changed is you chose to let it go, right? And He continued talking to me. He said, many people have a tendency of holding on to things that they cannot control, holding on to the things that are not going right, holding on to rough seasons, holding on to certain situations, right? And what they don't realize is that by them holding on to those things that they perceive as negative, is it disrupts not only the quality of their day, but it disrupts the quality of their life. I'm going to say that again. The Lord told me, He said, many people, many of my children have a tendency to hold on to the things that are not right, to hold on to the fact that they're still waiting for something that they've been waiting on for a while, to hold on to situations, circumstances, and even seasons that they can't do anything about. And because they choose to hold on to those things, which they perceive are negative, notice He said they perceive, right? He said because they hold on to those things that they perceive are negative, what they don't realize is that not only does it disrupt the quality of their day, but it disrupts the quality of their life. And he then told me, he said, so if you want to get to a place, right, where life is enjoyable again, where you are productive again, then you've got to learn to master the art of letting it go. Letting go of things that you know it's not time for. Whew. Letting go of situations that you know you can't, that you know you can't change. Letting go of the things that you feel are going wrong. Letting go of the weight that negative emotions bring. And so I'm going to tell you like he told me, let it go. Whatever it is that you woke up with on your mind this morning, whatever it is that you've been carrying over from the last season, whatever the circumstance is, right, that weighs you down from time to time. Hey, Visha, the Lord says, let it go. And I don't know why he wants me to repeat this, so I'm going to repeat it anyway. This morning, the Lord told me, because I was seeking him, asking him like, Lord, I feel a lot better today. What changed? I don't know about y'all, but I'm always asking God why. Not like to question his authority, but I'm always seeking God for understanding. With any little shift that I see around me, I'm always asking God why. I think that's a very important key for many people. It builds a relationship with God. When you're always, curious as to getting clarity, God always talks to you. He always talks anyway. We just don't be listening. But I was asking God, what changed? Lord, what changed? And he told me, he said, you chose to let it go. You chose to let go of what was weighing you down yesterday. You chose to let go of that situation that, you can't do anything about. You chose to let it go. And he then told me, he said, many of my children, because they don't let go of things that they can't change, they choose not to let go of the weight of negative emotions. They choose not to let go of a lot of things. What they don't realize is that it not only affects the quality of their day, but it affects the quality of their life. And he followed it up by saying, if one is to get to a place where life is enjoyable, where life is carefree, where their faith allows for them to go throughout life in a childlike manner, carefree, he says, then you've got to master the art of letting go. And so when we think about that in terms of like success, right? I'm not talking about just worldly success, but I mean like success as far as you really flowing in the fullness of what God created you to do. There comes a certain point where we also have to realize that when we hold on to the weight of situations, circumstances, it really does prevent us from being productive. It prevents us from being able to enjoy life. It prevents us from being able to see the things that God is, doing in our lives. And I mean, think about it. Days where you have a lot on your brain, are those productive days? I'm going to say that again. Days where you have a lot on your mind, where you letting your mind run a million miles an hour about whatever it is. 9 times out of 10, many people will say those are not productive days. Why? Because your focus is solely on something that you cannot change. And it's like, if you know anything about focus, there's no such thing as being able to give your undivided attention to 10 million things at the same time. You got to pick one thing, right? And so it's why the Bible tells us to focus on God, to place our sights on him. Because when we focus on God, not only, are we productive, but a lot of times what we find is, we find clarity. He gives us understanding, but he also handles the things that we can't do anything about. And so I don't know who needs to hear this on this morning, but the Lord wants me to tell you, let it go. Whatever that it is, let it go. Whatever that situation is, let it go. Whatever that negative emotion is, let it go so that today can be different for you. And that was the revelation that the Lord gave me this morning. Because like I say, yesterday was one of those days where I was a little bit in my feelings. You know, I had a lot on my mind. And if I can be honest, even though I needed physical rest yesterday, it wasn't one of the most productive days that I've had. It was productive, but not as productive as I know that it could have been. And so the Lord told me that the shift came from my willingness to let it go. Okay, God, it happened. I'm moving forward. Okay, God, you know, I felt this way, but I'm moving forward. And I think that's a choice that every single day we have to make. Nobody's life is perfect. No matter how many people try to portray a perfect lifestyle on social media, we all go through things. But I think what separates, you know, to a certain degree, the wheat from the tares is their ability to let go of the things that the enemy does to them, to let go of the things that hurt them, the things that try to distract them. Let it go. Let it go. And so that is the word that God gave me on today. As I always tell y'all, I ain't one of them, you know, apostles, prophets, teachers that, you know, adds more to a message than God gives me. You know, that was what he gave me. And so I can't add nothing to it. And I ain't going to take away nothing from it. I pray that you're able to glean whatever it is that you need to glean from this situation. And I pray that this is a day where you're able to embrace the beauty of this day and take it for what it is. I pray it's a day where you're able to let go of the situations and the circumstances that oftentimes weigh us all down. And so that is it, man. To those of you guys that feel led to sow, the links are there. The seed title is Let It Go. You sow whatever the Lord tells you to sow, whether you are sowing $1, whether you're sowing $1,000. You let God lead you. If you need prayer for anything, please don't be afraid to reach out for prayer. The email is there. If you need to book a coaching session, that email is there as well. And so that is it, you guys. I love y'all. I am rooting for you guys. And so till next time, y'all. Peace.